Everybody, this is Bo with Football Talk, and we are headed into week 8, so it's time to start making our picks. And of course, we have the Thursday night game, which is going to be an interesting one. Tampa Bay has been playing terrible, so it'll be interesting to see if they can get back on track. I think Baltimore goes into Tampa Bay and gets that win. They just seem to be a better team overall, despite the fact that they've had some fourth quarter letdowns. I think Baltimore starts the week off right and gets that win. I figure Jacksonville in as the home team there in London is going to take down Denver. Haven't seen anything from the Broncos that makes me think that they're going to win very many games this year. So I'm going to go with Jacksonville. They do have a little bit more firepower on the offensive side. And since Denver struggles to get more than 20 points, I think Jacksonville can outlast them basically and get that win. I have Atlanta at home over Carolina. Carolina, despite the fact that they beat Tampa Bay this last week, clearly they're a tanking team. They're trading essentially all their talent away. I think Atlanta is definitely playing better than I thought they were going to at the beginning of the year as well. So I think they get a home win right here. I have the Bears, or not the Bears, but I have the Cowboys over the Bears at home. The Bears aren't very good despite the absolute beatdown they put on New England this last week. The Cowboys should easily roll through this team. They have a very good defense. The only thing Chicago can do is run the ball. So I think Dallas can walk away with a win. I have Miami on the road in Detroit. At this point, Detroit is starting to look worse and worse. I mean, their defense has been bad since the beginning, but now the offense isn't really producing either. And so they are on a track that they may have a hard time winning another game, despite the fact that they do fight and gut out every single game. They just can't seem to close games out. And Miami, with the amount of speed that they have, especially on that offensive side of the ball, I figure they're going to be able to just run through that Lions defense. I have Minnesota at home over Arizona. The Cardinals don't seem to have an identity or do anything particularly great. And this is another morning game. So the NFL really wanted Kirk Cousins to do well. Almost all their games are in the morning. So or at least the early time slot, I should say. But I think they get a home win right here. I have New Orleans at home over Vegas. Vegas has also been kind of inconsistent. They've been close in most of their games. New Orleans is actually playing worse than I thought they were going to. I thought they were going to be a fringe. I thought both these teams were going to be fringe playoff teams, and neither one of them has really produced anything. So at this point, neither one of them have a great record, but it should be a fun game to watch. And again, I have New Orleans at home on that one. I have the Jets beating New England, mostly because now you have a weird quarterback situation between Jones and Zappy. And so I think New York being a little more weird to say, but a little more established in what it is they're doing. I think they get that home win over the Patriots. I got Philly at home over Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is another one where, I don't trust Trubisky. I don't know if the rookie is going to be playing. So it's just question marks all over the place for Pittsburgh. So I don't think they go on the road and beat the undefeated Eagles. I think Eagles get it done. I got Tennessee on the road over the Texans. The Texans are, they're not a good team. I mean, not that the Titans have been awesome either, but I think they're the better of the two teams. I have Washington on the road in Indy. It's going to be the rookies' first start. I think Washington can get it done and expose some things as the kid is learning NFL speed. So I think the Commanders walk away with a win right there. I have San Francisco on the road over LA. The Rams, they've had a week off, so they've been able to scheme. They've had 2 weeks to scheme for this game. That being said, San Francisco has, if not the best, the top 3 defense in the league. And adding CMC and giving him a week of practice with that offense, it should be much more dynamic than what we just saw. And LA just on the offensive side really can't seem to get anything clicking, especially because Stafford's main target is Cup. It seems like the only receiver he's comfortable with, so he's targeting him an insane amount of times every game. So it sort of makes the offense kind of predictable, and I would imagine that a really good defense out of San Francisco can shut that down. So I got San Fran on the road. I have Seattle at home over New York. New York is interesting. The Giants have had some pretty lucky breaks during games, which you need. Any team that has success in the league always ends up with some lucky breaks throughout the year, whether it's just the balls bouncing their way or they manage to not get bit by the injury bug. And the Giants have been relatively healthy, and they've had some pretty lucky things fall their way, which is why the record is the way it is. That being said, I think Seattle can surprise them. I do believe Seattle is the underdog. The biggest question is if they're going to be able to stop Saquon Barkley. Seattle does still have the worst run defense in the league, averaging just under 150 yards per game. And although they held the Chargers to 53 yards, I think that's more to do with the Chargers just don't run the ball well. And New York has an elite running back. So that will be the biggest question. If Saquon gets rolling early, the Seahawks may be in trouble, but I think Seattle can win this home game. I got the Bills beating Green Bay easily. Green Bay has looked horrible, especially on that offensive side of the ball. Rodgers and his receiving core just really don't seem to be clicking. And now coming out and saying that they're playing terrible and that some of them should be getting less reps is probably not going to help team morale. So I think the Bills go in. They're at home. I think Green Bay goes in and gets beat down in Buffalo. And then on Monday night, I got Cincy over Cleveland. Cincy, I mean, they have so much more firepower. I think that they can get it done, especially if they can slow the run game down initially. If they can jump out to a lead, they'll have this game. If they fall behind, that's where it becomes a little more interesting for Cincinnati, because then that Cleveland running game can really chew the clock up. But if they can get out in front and make them throw the ball, I think Cincinnati can easily come away with a win right there. And yeah, so like, subscribe, let me know which picks you agree with, which ones you don't. And other than that, see you next week.